Coming up on Mountain News this morning, doctors give some tips on how to take care of yourself if you test positive for COVID. And an Eastern Kentucky arena prepares to ring in the new year while trying to keep folks safe at the same time.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Well, it's 6:30 on this Friday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Dakota Makris, and it is the last newscast of the year for Mountain News this morning. And let's head over to Brandon Robinson because, of course, you know, it wouldn't be the last newscast if we didn't have some exciting stuff going on, Brandon. So, you know, 2021, just like, all right, here's one more thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you thought you were done? No, not yet.
We have more. It's a severe weather alert day this morning.
Yes, it is, and we're continuing to track what's coming, not what's here right now, but what's coming. We're seeing a little bit of fog this morning, but the big action comes into play overnight and through tomorrow and into Sunday as well. So a busy first weekend of 2022. Taking a look at fog this morning, some low visibility in some spots, so be aware of that. As you head out the door, temperatures continue to go up there as we see those in the 40s and 50s region-wide this morning. 41 in Irvin, the cool spot, 52 Somerset, and Monticello, the warmer spot. 68 today is our forecast high. If we get to that, that will tie the record set back on this day a few years ago back at the National Weather Service office at Jackson. Staying fairly mild tonight as well. We'll have more on that forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, Father Jim Shisko has returned to Kentucky with Pope Francis's gifts. Now, he gave a signed basketball from Coach Cal and a bottle of bourbon to the Pope. Now, Father Jim asked the Pope to gift them back so the items can be auctioned off for the Western Kentucky tornado relief. Now, the Father will auction these two items off online.
People can bid for these items for the next 5 days. Once the bidding ends, the people will receive the gifts along with the beautiful photos, and that money then will go directly to the people in Western Kentucky.
Well, if you would like to bid on one of those items, you can look for this story on our website at WYMT.com. Well, police are warning about a scam attempt over Magoffin County. Police say that a caller says that a family member is arrested in another state. The caller then gives a false reference number and tells the caller they will call back with further details. Now, police want to remind you to never give money or financial information to anyone who calls you. The pandemic has caused significant staffing shortages. In the beginning, many organizations were not prepared with all the quarantines. Now, with the newest increase in cases, first responders in Georgetown and Richmond are making sure they can staff all departments. City officials are trying to get creative on how to keep the city staffed.
For example, those in public works each knew the other's job. In finance department, for example, enough persons knew all of the jobs that were actually handled by the department that folks could just step right in and keep the work moving.
Now, Georgetown's mayor says they learned a lot since March of 2020 when citywide staffing levels were stressed. Well, we're just hours from New Year's celebrations. More folks are getting tested for COVID-19, many of them inside of their own homes. Now, at-home COVID tests are flying off the shelves and have become unavailable in several stores. This, as more people are seeing positive test results. Doctors say that those with mild symptoms can use fever reducers and should stay hydrated.
A lot of this you're going to treat like any other viral infection, especially in children. When children have a fever, it really increases their water requirement dramatically.
Well, doctors say to keep airflow going throughout your home and stay away from others for 5 days and until your symptoms are gone. New year, new variant. 2022 is right around the corner, but another spike in COVID cases may put a slight damper on New Year's celebrations. Our Jordan Mullins has more on how to be safe when celebrating and how venues are preparing to keep guests safe.
As the new year is drawing ever closer, we have seen another spike in COVID-19 cases across the globe and here in the region, especially cases of the Omicron variant.
That's the problem about the Omicron. It is at least 2 to 4 times more contagious than the Delta, but when you have massive amount of people infected with Omicron, you're going to see a surge of infection with a lot of hospitalization.
Because of this surge in cases, New Year's Eve celebration venues are focused on safety while ringing in the new year.
If you feel safe wearing a mask, more than welcome to wear a mask. You know, space yourself inside here. I mean, we're very well sanitized.
Along with masking up, social distancing, and general cleanliness, Dr. Fadi Alacross at Pikeville Medical Center suggests receiving a vaccine or booster.
The 2 shots, unfortunately now you're not going to have the full protection with Omicron. But if you get the booster, this is going to boost your immunity to around 75% with Omicron. So highly encourage people to get vaccinated, and especially the booster if they're qualified.
In order to have a safe New Year's,
this is basically what we advise people to do. Be smart about your choices, pick what's right for you, protect your environment, and we wish everybody a Happy New Year, full of health, as well as full of joy and happiness.
And keep yourself, family, friends, and neighbors healthy in 2022. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Dr. Alacross says if you are interested in receiving a vaccine or booster, to call Pikeville Medical Center for more information. A Kentucky man got creative after canceling his holiday trip to Times Square. Gary Gammon and his friends decided not to watch the ball drop in New York City this weekend because of increasing COVID cases, but they still wanted to celebrate, so they decided to build a ball of their own.
I started thinking, I was like, you know, this thing's not going to be that hard. We can build this ball. And we just thought, well, we'd grab a bunch of PVC and start making circles and interline them and tie them together. And before you know it, we have the ball that's 6 feet in diameter.
The final product has 3,500 lights. A plumbing company in Franklin donated some of the materials. I'm sorry. Sorry, Brandon was over there. Nationwide New Year's Eve parties are being scaled back. Health officials worried if they aren't, the COVID surge will get even worse. CBS's Laura Podesta is in Times Square, where New York City's famous ball drop extravaganza will, for another year, look different due to the pandemic.
10, 9, 8. As the country gets ready to ring in 2022, it's a repeat of 2021. COVID cases are once again rising to record highs across the country. Nearly 500,000 new infections were reported just yesterday. 15 states plus D.C. and Puerto Rico are averaging more daily cases than ever. And Florida just shattered its state record.
We are at the very beginning, unfortunately, and likely have at least 4 to 8 weeks before we're going to see it rise and then begin to fall again.
White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci urged people not to attend large-scale New Year's Eve celebrations. Atlanta's Peach Drop was canceled for a second year in a row, and San Francisco scrapped plans for its fireworks show. While the iconic ball drop here in Times Square will still be attended by thousands of partygoers, they must be fully vaccinated and masked, and there will be limited capacity to allow for social distancing. Incoming New York City Mayor Eric Adams has also announced he's keeping the Big Apple's controversial vaccine mandate in place for every single worker, whether they're employed by the public sector or private.
We must learn to be smarter, live with COVID, and ensure that we protect everyday New Yorkers, and that is what I'm going to do.
There is new hope for ending the pandemic in the new year. Pfizer and Merck's at-home COVID treatment pills are starting to hit pharmacy shelves nationwide. And the CDC says COVID boosters could soon be made available for kids. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Well, as for the big Times Square show tonight, it too has also been affected. Rapper LL Cool J, who was supposed to be among the live performers, announced he's had to pull out after testing positive. Well, pop that cork. Today marks not only New Year's Eve, but also National Champagne Day. Champagne is a wine known for, oh my goodness, that word, which comes from fermenting the beverage, allowing the vintner to trap the CO2 in the bottle, giving the bubbly its signature fizz. Primarily, the 3 grapes used to create champagne are Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. Champagne has a shelf life of about 3 to 10 years, depending on whether it's vintage or non-vintage. Non-vintage has a shorter shelf life, so go ahead, pop that cork and celebrate. Well, good luck finding Beverly to toast to the future and ring in 2022 with. Liquor sellers say certain champagne brands, which can retail for $50 to more than $100 per bottle, are sold out in many markets, although you can likely still find bottles of less expensive options. Some say it's due to increased demand, diminished grape harvest, and a disrupted supply chain. Meanwhile, demand for champagne and sparkling wines has surged 120% since 2019.
640 here on this Friday morning. Temperatures continue to move their way up. We were in the 30s in Irvine earlier, now into the low 40s and still mid to upper 40s and low 50s across our region, especially down toward Lake Cumberland. Your out-the-door forecast today is going to feature, again, the possibility for some late-day rain chances. I do think we see a foggy start to the day. And if we get to 68 this afternoon, that'll tie the record high at Jackson for today. And Dakota, the word you were looking for earlier was effervescence. And that Champaign story. There you go.
So, Brandon, thank you. Woo, goodness, it's Friday and, oh, well, all right. Well, the time is now 6:40. Still to come here on Mountain News this morning. A Colorado truck driver accused of causing a deadly crash now has a new sentence behind bars.